So I was recently watching this video of this lady complaining that she and her husband was making over $120,000 a year and they were living paycheck to paycheck. But I also was reading this article stating that really 51% of individuals that make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. So it's not just this lady. So let me know in the comments when you hear that somebody's making over 100,000 and they're living check to check. What would you say is the reason that they are living paycheck to paycheck? So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 ways to not live paycheck to paycheck. So let's get into it. Now, what I want to do is I want to go over here to this article where they were saying that people are living paycheck to paycheck. So let me share my screen with you. So over here is stating that millions of Americans earning over 100K are living paycheck to paycheck. And this is from a survey that they did. So they said more than half of Americans earning six-figure salaries admit that they're living paycheck to paycheck last year as a result of high inflation. So right here is stating the inflation are eating up the American's wallet, and then that's why people are living paycheck to paycheck. And like with gas and groceries, they're saying, like eggs are very expensive. But it's just like when I think of it, would you say that that's the only reason? It's just like if you're making over $100,000, while you might feel like a pinch in your wallet, would you say that that is the main reason that you are living paycheck to paycheck? I don't know that it's really necessarily about a certain income, but if you're making a higher income, I feel like you have a little bit more leeway. But I feel like people in general don't necessarily possibly know where their income is going. So first we're going to talk about lifestyle. Even consider Ocho Cinco. He's stating, of course, he's this football player. He's making all his money, but he's still being aware and not necessarily saying that he has to be on private jets or he has to be wearing this expensive jewelry. He's talking about he went to Claire's and he was getting some of his jewelry from Claire's. And I don't know about that. But, on the same hand, we do have to be aware of where we're spending our money so that we're not living paycheck to paycheck. And then sometimes even, let's say if we start earning more money, we'll start spending more money too. So I think that's why it's very important to do a budget. But I think overall is, so we really have to take a look at our lifestyle and possibly see what's really going on. And so the next thing is going to be doing a budget. In the video of the lady saying that she didn't know where her money was going, most of the time you might know how much money you make possibly, but you don't know where your money is going. So it's very important to, one, know how much money you have coming in compared to going out. But then also know, like, when are your bills due every month? And then how much money do you have left over? And so then that's when you can decide. And I feel like when you are doing a budget, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be so strict, but I do think that sometimes kind of in the beginning, especially if you're feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck and don't have you trying to go and do things, your friends is asking you to do stuff and you don't have no money. It's just like, what's going on? So it's like maybe you might have to cut back a little bit. But I think first we really have to see where is the money going. So I know, like, for myself, I'm going to be eating out, but it's not necessarily to say that eating out is bad. Because if you are, let's say if you're eating out every day and then you're going to the grocery store too, but then you're not cooking the groceries and you're wasting it, then that's wasting money. So you want to see, like, for your household, what's going to benefit you. For me, going out to eat, I feel like it's okay for me because I'm not overspending it, but it's like, how can I do it within my budget? And then let's say if two people have, or even one person have a car note and it's over $500, and then your rent is high. So it's just like, those kind of things are going to be eating up your income. And then, if both people have student loans, but, right now we're not paying our student loans, but it's just like some things can eat our money up. So it's very important that we understand how our spending is going so that we can pretty much tell our money what to do, opposed to we don't have no money every month. Who want to be making all that money and then don't ever have no money. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's why there's nothing wrong with saying that you budget. So, you can always drop down in the description and get my free budget and debt repayment template. But you can also go over to my Etsy shop and you can get my 2023 digital budget planner. That way we can do our budgets together. And so I think that that is a really good way. So drop down in the description if you are interested in it. But I would say doing a budget is very important. And so next, I'm going to say saving for a rainy day. Because y'all know last month when some of those Bank of America customer woke up and then they money was gone, they had like $2,000 or $3,000 in the bank. And then when they woke up, they only had like 200 or a negative balance. So by us having some money saved up for a rainy day, if something happens, we're not necessarily just kind of like going crazy or just like overwhelmed. While we get things settled, we'll have, I say, even like 1 month or 2 months of expenses in a separate account. And we have been talking about doing those high yield savings. And I even started doing our certificate with Navy Federal. That way our money can make a little bit money as well with those high yield savings accounts, because we don't want to be living check to check and then something happens, like you get a flat tire or anything and we don't have any money. I always like to say, y'all know, I like to use my credit cards, paying as many things with my credit cards as I can, and then I'll pay it off at the end of the month. So not only am I earning points and things like that, I have a little bit more flexibility, I would say. Now, the next thing is I'm going to say cut expenses. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you have to cut expenses for all this time, but let's say if you are living paycheck to paycheck, by maybe cutting expenses for a small amount of time, especially if it's those streamings or maybe if it's going out to eat or whatever it is that is eating up your money, possibly you could cut it, just for a specific amount of time. And then you'll really be able to see, like, do I really miss whatever it was that I was doing? Possibly, I can continue not using that. And so I'm not necessarily saying that just because we're on a budget, we're just not doing anything. But I do feel like sometimes, especially if we want to get to where we want to be, to where we're not worrying about where our money is going to be coming from, or paying our bills. Because for me, I think it's very important to pay the bills on time every month. I don't want to be worrying about, am I going to get put out, or my lights going to get cut off, or am I not going to have money for food or stuff like that. So that's why making sure that I have money. So if that means right now maybe I can't travel, or right now I can't buy shoes and things like that for a time being, it's not necessarily meaning that it's going to be forever, small time period until we can get to where we want to get to. And the last thing I will say is possibly you might have to earn some extra income. But I say that, kind of slow, because not all the time do I think it's because we don't make enough money, just like in this example. And then just even like in this article, people are making over $100,000, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. So that's why I really say it's not necessarily how much money you're bringing in, but what are you doing with your money? We have to be a little bit more aware of where our money is going, and we have to tell our money what to do. And so that way we can have a little bit more control of our money. And so that's why I say it kind of slow, because for me, I would way rather want to do my budget and see kind of where my money is going, or possibly cut back a little bit first before, let's say you have to get an extra job, or something like that. Because sometimes even when you get the extra job, then maybe you'll start spending the extra money, and then it's like you're really doing an extra job for no reason because you're spending the money. So that's why I say you really want to be more intentional on the front end. And so that's why it's important to really see where that money is going, because it's not really necessarily that we have to live paycheck to paycheck. We can kind of on the front end, and especially right now, we just starting the year off. This will be a great time for us to see where our money is going, and just get prepared for, the next coming months. And then especially, there are some times where we get paid more extra check. And so I believe maybe like in March, it depends on when, how your paychecks fall, but we're going to be getting an extra paycheck. And, some people will say, well, not really, you're not getting a real extra paycheck, but I really feel like you are getting an extra paycheck. But if you're living check to check, then of course you're going to possibly feel like you're not getting an extra check. So I think this is a good time for us to, see where our money is going, get current on our bills, save a little, put a little bit of money aside, and if it can't be a month or two of expenses, just kind of start where you can. They say that most people can't even afford like a $400. So maybe just start with 400, start where you can, and then just kind of put it aside. And then plus people gonna start getting those income tax checks. So that'll be a good time to put some money aside or get ahead as well. But let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this? And what are some tips and some ways that you make sure that you don't live paycheck to paycheck? Let me know in the comments how we can do better. But check out this video right here where I was talking about 5 credit cards to where you can do a balance transfer if you have credit card debt so that you can pay no interest for, up to 21 months.
It's not a game, it's a